well, it's Xenoxis. It just jumped to 2 seconds there. Because it does a little bit of freezing at the start. But anyway, this is the Xenoxis Show for the 21st of June 2023. I'm gonna check if there is any webcam vlog that I've forgotten to upload. I mean, there have been a few before that I've forgotten, like the 7th of March, like I did a remake thing. It was that Area Reagan speculations. And I did like some comparisons and stuff that I haven't uploaded that one. There's a few videos that I haven't uploaded, like I haven't uploaded the WoW remix video that I did, and I haven't uploaded the latest Vampire Survivors, which was before the expansion came out, before the crossover with the Contra came out. And then I did a Warcraft 3. I've done Reforged Orc tier list for low APM, basically 50 average, and then like the Reforged Human tier list. I plan to do for all of the races and stuff that, and certain other ones. I already have the pictures ready to go and stuff that, because I've already done all of the list basic and stuff that. I just need to do a video with them and stuff that, so yeah. I'm only using 2 of the hard drives now. I'm not using the extra hard drive anymore. I only have very little left. I have the water bottle here in the background here. And stuff that, so yeah. But yeah, and it's not really this bright in the room. And I even have the thing turned off, the thing that makes the light. Like, that makes it so that it's less bright, you know, stuff that. And I shaved my head recently. I like to shave the head around the summer because it helps a lot. But I'm thinking about getting like cooling clothes, so to speak, because I know that apparently there exist both like caps, or whatever you want to call it, or hats or whatever, or you know, beanies, you know, that have like fans in them or something like that, something to cool down. Then there's like something that's a jacket or a vest, or you have like a package that is pretty thick with like a gel in it, and then you put it in the freezer for like 5 to 15 minutes or whatever, right? And that keeps you cold and stuff that, you know, because you know it gets very hot in here when you game. Of course, the best thing is, of course, if you quote-unquote game during the night and stuff that, even though it isn't dark for super long and stuff that, so you know, because usually it still gets cold now during the night, which is nice, of course, and stuff that, because you know when if it gets 12 degrees outside during the night, then that's like really helps a lot and stuff that, because this room can get super hot when you game and stuff that. That's the main problem. Although I have also been thinking about maybe getting an AC instead. We have an AC out there basically that we can plug in and stuff that. But the annoying thing with that thing is that it releases hot air, and the hot air stays high up. So then during the night, if I open it during the night, basically all that heat comes into this room and stuff that. So you know, that's a thing, you know. But yeah. There has not been a heat wave yet though, and stuff that, and hopefully we could avoid it and stuff that, you know, that would be good, you're right, but yeah. But I mean, if I can find some cooling clothes, you know, and stuff that, then the heat in here would be less of an issue and stuff that, you know, and stuff that, because specifically the ones that are like for your head, or also if there are ones for the feet, if there are like socks with like cooling effects, right? I believe the reason that technology for like the cooling yourself down and stuff that technology has gone forward a lot, because of the fact that certain countries are building a lot of stuff, like in China they're building a lot of stuff. And how do we keep people working when it's like 30 plus Celsius, 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, or over 40 degrees Celsius? Like, how do we keep people working outside? Like, that's like building stuff, you know, like that's really rough on them, you know, and stuff that. So, you know, then if you wear stuff that keeps you cool, you know, and stuff that, that's a big deal, you know, and stuff that. Sure, they still need to drink a lot of water, you know, and stuff that, but still, you know. But yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about a few things. First off, there was the Nintendo Direct that was pretty recently and stuff that, you know. I do have some theories on, you know, why they call Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. First off, I don't think that Metroid Prime 4, Because here's the main problem, right? There are people that are just fixed in the whole idea that Metroid Prime 1 to 4 takes place directly before or after Metroid 1, basically, before Metroid 2. And sure, there was 2 for like 1 to 3, because that has been pretty much confirmed and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that 4 has to take place at the same time. Because here's the thing, right? They could make a Metroid Prime game that takes place at a later point and stuff like that. Now, the interesting thing is, of course, the way certain suits look, which is very, very important. And stuff that you can very clearly see that the ship is different and stuff that. I don't remember if this was how the ship looked like in Metroid Prime 3, if it was similar to that ship. Because in Metroid Prime 1 it was that whole fat chunky design, you know, in Metroid Prime 1. In 2 it was a little bit different, if I remember correctly. And in 3 I don't even remember what it looked like in 3. But yeah, Metroid Prime 1, of course, was the really, really big deal and stuff that, you know, when it came out, because nobody thought it was going to be good and stuff that, and then it was amazing. But Echoes is still kind of my favorite, because Echoes, you know, has like a dark world to it, you know, and stuff that. And I was like the whole idea, like, okay, what does this location look like in a dark world? That's why Soul Reaver, Legacy of King Soul Reaver, was so good, because it was like, oh, this dark world and stuff that, you know, and, you know. The second Soul Reaver game could have been amazing if it wasn't so damn short, and if it would have been more focused on exploration. Imagine, right, if there could have been something to allow you to switch between like, if you could have unlocked some sort of power, so, oh, you could switch time at any point, right, and then, like, oh, if you go to this time, you can go to this place. Oh, and like, if they would have kept a lot of the exploration and so on. But the main problem with 2 is that it's way too straightforward. 2 was just boom. You know, it wasn't really much exploration in it at all, and, you know, it was so weird, like why did they make 2 the way they did, you know, and stuff that absolutely made no sense and stuff that, you know, so yeah. Because that whole time aspect in it could have been really, really interesting and stuff that, if they would have, like, have, like, unique stuff that you can only get in certain time periods, and then maybe you could have, like, really, really hard to get stuff that would require you to jump between a lot of the different timelines and stuff that, you know, that could be really, really cool. And so that, but yeah. But anyway, so they call it Beyond, you know, of course, and there was like a purple kind of thing. So Beyond could either mean, of course, that yes, it's gonna be open world, kind of like in 3, of course, you visited a couple of planets and stuff like that in 3. It might be that this is expanded, that the planets are super, super massive, or it might have to do with portals and stuff like that. Right, because remember, right, in Aether, the reason why Dark Aether was there, of course, because the planet split and stuff like that. So, you know, you had like a dark dimension and stuff like that. But imagine if this Beyond is more like portals on like every planet and stuff like that. Like, each planet has a light side and a dark side, or not necessarily, you wouldn't have to call it a dark side, but like a different side and stuff like that. Like, they could do some really, really cool stuff with it, you know. Although I do think, right, that the graphics that they show, of course, they look good. Because, you know, I still remember that Metroid Prime 1, or the one that they released on Switch, is more like a remake, because all of the graphics were done differently completely and stuff like that, and like the special effects and stuff that looked way better. Special effects. Makes it sound like it is a move, but yeah. But the effects in that was really good looking and stuff that in the Metroid Prime, you know, for the Switch. Which they call like a remaster and stuff there, but it's more like a remake and stuff like that. But like in the trailer, of course, you know, you also get to see very, very shortly when it ends, you get to see like a green planet, you know, and the thought that immediately made me think was that, oh, this is Brinstar for whatever reason. And like, I mean, Beyond, you know, it could be like, okay, alternative dimensions, but what if it is like exactly that, but it's like time, has to do with time instead, so that it puts you back in time. And now all of a sudden, you know, because the beginning made me not think of Metroid Prime 3, that some people are, oh, but of course you're on a space station and stuff like that. Like, what if the place that you're in at the very, very start, okay, it looks like a planet, but I think that planet that they show there at the start, I mean, it could be the same place, of course, and stuff like that. But what if it's like a, not necessarily a remake, but it's basically, oh, you're back on the Zero space station from Super Metroid, but it's like on a planet instead. Like oh, they're reimagining, so it's on a planet instead of that Zero space station, and then you know, or it has to do with that hunter or whatever it is that is somebody, the Cyrex, I think it's called, Osiris. No, I forgot what it was called, but that purple guy. And I don't know if he's from like the Metroid Hunters game or the Federation games and stuff like that, because you might remember in Metroid Prime 3 there were a couple of hunters. Actually, let me look them up here. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Let's look up the hunters here. Yeah, Ganraida, Rundas, Samus, and Gore, of course. None of them look like that though. Metroid Prime 4 I can't spell. I can't spell. Yeah, Silex, okay. Yeah, Metroid Prime Hunters. Yeah, for the DS. Metroid Prime Hunters DS Silex. Because that's where he's from. Yes, here he is. Silex is a powerful bounty hunter who appeared in Metroid Prime Hunters. Very little is known about Silex. Other than that, he harbors strong hatred for Galactic Federation, some arm. By association, Silex appeared in the special endings of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption and Metroid Prime Federation 4. Both of which set him up as antagonists for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Okay. Gunship is called the Delano 7. Main weapon is Shock Coil. Art form is Lockjaw. So, can we look at his gunship? What it looks like? Okay, so it's... Okay, model of the Delano 7. Okay, so it's blue and it's with green. Okay. Right, what does it say? Okay. That he was even willing to work alongside the Space Pirates, notably aiding them in attacking a Galactic Federation owned research facility in 20X9. That's where it says that it takes place in Metroid Prime 4, actually. 20X9, isn't it? Isn't that how it opens? But does that mean that this is Metroid Prime Hunters technically? That it's the Metroid Prime Hunters game, but like a follow-up to specifically to that? That might be the thing, actually. Samus first encountered Silex in the weapons complex of the West Bay Defense Outpost. What else I must do? In the special ending of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, Samus the boss was based on a gunship. She's unknown and fully by mysterious spacecraft piloted by Silex. Oh yeah. During M17 infestation, the Federation forces ordered to destroy a Metroid breeding facility on Talvania. General Alex Miles asks each Marine in the force to retrieve a Metroid egg for study. Silex at the end of the Federation force, he looks at them, Metroid and stuff like that. So those are the Metroids that he brings with him in the Metroid Prime 4 trailer. Yeah, for years after the release of Corruption, it was speculated that the pilot the ship was Silex due to the ship's resemblance to the Delano 7. At E3 2015, the producer of the Metroid Prime series, Kensuke Tanabe, confirmed that the pilot was in fact Silex. He referred to Silex and expressed interest in developing a game about Samus and Silex. Yeah, the potential game would be released after Metroid Prime Federation Force. On June 18th, 2024, during the Nintendo Direct, Metroid Prime 4 was announced, as Silex was revealed to be the antagonist. No, with the power of 10 mock droids. Okay, they are mock droids. That is interesting, because mock droids is what they're called in Super Metroid, right? Correct? Mock droids are the one, yeah, in the Super Metroid. Mock droids were only found in the Sabataki pirate outpost in Maridia. Interesting. So that seems to be very interesting, because when does Metroid Prime Federation Force? Metroid Prime Federation Force. When does it take place in the timeline? Because I believe that that is the latest in the timeline for the Metroid Prime series. Introduced to the Federation Force is that it takes place in the cosmic calendar year of 20x6. Okay, Metroid Prime Hunters then. Hunters. So Hunters takes place later then. So Hunters takes place after, which is weird. Metroid Prime Hunters takes place between Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Okay. Okay, so that's confirmed what that takes place. So that's interesting. So Metroid Prime Federation Force is the latest one in the timeline. Yeah, first this technique is Zero Mission, because Zero Mission replaces Metroid 1 in the timeline. That Zero Mission is more correct. For Zero Mission and Prime Trilogy and Samus Returns, Super, Other M, and Fusion and Red. No, but it's definitely like after Prime 3. Of course, so after the Metroid Prime 1 and 2, or between 1 and 2, is when Hunters takes place, and the Federation Force, which is confirmed, you know, takes place after Prime 3. Stuff that. So it's definitely taking place after Federation Force. Yeah. It's basically guaranteed to be between Federation Force and Samus Returns. Oh yeah, because Samus Returns is of course Metroid Prime 2 and stuff that. So yeah. So yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be very interesting indeed. But yeah, anyway. Next up to talk about is the on the PS5. I got a Cosmotic Combat as, you know, severely price reduced. I thought about getting Street Fighter, but then I really want to get the Ultimate Edition, and the Ultimate Edition with comes with all the costumes for the seasonal character. The main problem with that is of course that there's only for the first season, and the thing is, hopefully they will release a later edition once all the stuff from Season 2 comes out. Hopefully they will do one that is both Season Pass 1 and 2 and stuff there, so you can save money on that, you know, and stuff there, because it is really annoying now how games don't come with some sort of edition that has, like, or basically after, like, seasons has finished, then there should be, or like a version of a game that comes out with, like, Season 1 and 2, like, bundled together and then be way cheaper and stuff that, you know, and, you know, because that should just be a thing, you know, that should be doing, you know, and stuff that, because, yeah. But anyway, I'm also playing the AEV, All Elite Wrestling, and it's pretty damn good actually, except for of course the CAW Creator Wrestler, which is rather lacking, to be honest. There's quite a lot of moves, and actually by using the directional the D-pad, and you hitting it like left or right, actually allows you to scroll a full page basically in when you like select moves and stuff that, and when you select finishers, which is good. However, here's the main problem, right? When you select finishers or moves or whatever, right, and if there's a lot of them, then you can actually, or there should have been categories for the different types of move. Like submission moves should be a separate category for like, so that when you choose your finisher, like, okay, do you want to be submission focused style character, you should be able to select submission as a category. Strikes, of course, grapples. The problem with grapples are that not all grapples are the same. Like certain grapples are throws, of course. Certain grapples are definitely throws, and certain grapples are strikes and stuff like that. So, you know, because there are things that are obviously grapples, but then there are also like finishes that are like from the top rope and stuff like that, you know, and those should be indicated as well, you know, like, oh, this is a top rope, this is like a dive move and stuff like that. So, you know, like, okay, this, because, you know, there are certain stats that you can have on your creative racer, or a certain, when you're playing the all elite or the road to elite mode, and when you play through that, you gain your stats or whatever, right? You can choose what to invest in. And like certain moves are like, they are like into different categories, like, and you can strengthen them, you know, and stuff like that. And there's like one with the arm, there are like the punches and stuff like that. And keep in mind that these apparently also affect your finisher. Like, sure, there is individual damage for your finisher as well. Like, there's individual damage to a finisher, and there's also individual damage for your signature. But those also benefit depending on what the signature move is. So let's say there is a dive move. There is, for example, like dive moves that hit you with like a punch, that you jump down and you punch them in the face and stuff like that. Those moves also benefit from the arm and not just the diving move thing. That's at least from my understanding, that you double dip, and that's like the really, really huge damages. Ones that are like, you know, that does several things, because there are like finishers that do several things and stuff like that. And certain characters, of course, have way better stats. Like, that's the thing that's not understandable, really. Like, so I kind of like the fact that you're limited with how many stats you can gain from a playthrough, right, and stuff like that. And I would recommend that you play on easy, because on easy it's just easier to get the stats, and you can still get quite enough stats and stuff like that. And I can understand why they have limited like that, because, oh, they don't want create wrestler characters to become too powerful. But then, like, the strongest wrestler in the game stat-wise is Kenny Omega. I forgot if there was someone that have figured out exactly what he has. AEV. All. What was it called? AEW. It was called Fight Forever, yeah. Fight Forever. Fight Forever. Kenny Omega stats. I don't think that it shows exactly what his stats are. What it would cost to recreate the minority may percentage based on that to create overall ratings. So Kenny Omega is at 100, Bryan Danielson 98, Chris Jericho 94, MJF 90, Pac 89. But does that include hidden characters as well? That seems really weird if that character would be that low, actually. Because I thought that character was one of the higher ones. Okay, that's understandable. Certain of these makes absolutely sense where they are, but then there are certain ones that doesn't make sense where they are. At all. Okay, Brody Lee only has 72 in stats. But my character that I had that was based on Brody Lee in terms of the moveset, his movesets are way better than... I had another character that I based upon, like Chris Jericho's moveset. And I feel like my character that was based on Mr. Brody Lee's set was actually way better. Because on that one I was able to get 2 of the belts. And for some reason the 3rd belt did not show up, and I don't know what I did wrong. If I should have joined like the Dark Order or whatever you call it. You know, and stuff that, if that was what I messed up. Because I did manage to clear the, what do you call it, the Royal Rumble style thing. That's in the very beginning of the game and stuff that, but yeah. I took whatever to get the skills in RTE, but I changed the skill gap, power, kick, power, etc. to 1000 each instead of the RTE cost. And this would be basically how strong they would be in terms of like create a character and stuff that, like what points they would be kind around and stuff that. But 100, does that mean that means like every single skill is what they get? Is the question, you know, and stuff that, because yeah. Because it's weird, right, that you don't have the stats on any of the characters anywhere basically and stuff that, because yeah. So it came out in June 29, 2023 is the release. And the earliest it was shown was like 2019 and stuff that, okay. So I mean, it hasn't been out for a year yet, you know, so, you know, interesting. So I mean, it has gotten like a meddling score, you know, and stuff that, like not like super high really anywhere, you know, and stuff that, but yeah. But I will say this. Okay. Fight for It was the 3rd best-selling game in the United Kingdom upon release by The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16. Which is actually pretty good, you know, and stuff that, because yeah. No, but I don't know how big their budget is compared to like the WWE games and stuff that, because yeah. And I would say that I find that it's more similar to the PS2 games and stuff that. I do have, of course, some PS2 games in one of the boxes here. I wonder if I can actually find it now. A bit quick, because it should still be there. Oh man, this is heavy. Be careful when I put it down. Okay. I'm just going to remove my headphones a bit. I don't need to have headphones on, of course. Wow, then I have all the games. I have so many PlayStation 1 games, so many. Oh, there's the Breath of Fire game. There's the Crook Legend of Gold Balls. There's Formula 197. Spawn Identify, Xenoxis Underground, Quick Revolution. I don't know if you can hear from over here. Get a Gran Turismo 4, Gran Turismo 4 Prologue, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Smackdown, Here Comes the Pain, Hyper Street Fighter 4, Shadow of Colossus, Breath Dragon Quarter, Tekken 4, Silent Hill 3, Burnout Takedown, Gran Turismo 3 Apex, Soul Calibur 2, Dead or Alive 2, Final Fantasy X2, and I also had Final Fantasy X 10, and I had all like the Final Fantasy 12. There's a few games that aren't here. And where's the... Here it is. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is, my favorite wrestling game of all time. Look at that. Look at that, man. Oh, look at those graphics, man. And if I remember correctly, like the fucking instruction manual was pretty dope as well, yeah. You had like a lot of stuff. Did I write down anything in the instruction manual? Oh, no, I don't think I did, actually. I would think that this would be where I would have written down like the codes and stuff there, but I did not. You know, I probably had them written down somewhere else, but yeah. Smackdown, Here Comes the Pain. But here is this. Hang on. It is really hard to see because there's no light in here. I can fix this with this. Okay. This Super Megabyte, okay. It's 2003. 2003. Yeah. A Legend, Sergeant Slaughter, The $1 Million Man, Jimmy Suka, and more. All of those were quote-unquote hidden characters that you had to unlock, but yeah. And this was the one with Brock Lesnar, of course. Now keep in mind that they look different depending on the region. You can see there in the top corner there that it's PAL region. So it's not NTCS. So that's the thing, right? That there's so many people, like, when the PlayStation Classic came out, there's so many people like, oh, why is Tekken 3 running in slow motion? And then those stupid Americans. Not all Americans, of course. The ones that vote for US Democrats. more like US Democrats that want to destroy the entire planet because Republicans bad, Democrats good. We are the most racist party in existence. And then like one black person or one immigrant moves into an area, all the white people just disappears. That's basically what the liberals are. Or the not real liberals, of course, but you know what I mean. No, in the bathroom. Where did I put the game? Did I put it back already? Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah, there we have Dragon Contest. Here we have the Tekken 4. 1, 7 till 3. Yeah. Yeah, and here's the best Tomb Raider game. Here's the best Tomb Raider game. Yeah, Chronicles. Yeah. Chronicles were super late though, man. Like, what is it the year on this? Chronicles were like crazy how late it was. It was 2000. 2000, man, is when this came out. The PS2 was already out at that point, but of course Tomb Raider Chronicles was like a super big step up from... I should actually put them in order here, actually, here. Let me actually fix this up. Okay, there's... Just do that. So it's easier. Tomb. The main problem is that there are certain games that are thicker than others for whatever reason. And I don't know why they've done that. Okay, so... Or it might be that there are certain PS2 games that are just way too big. Which is a big fucking issue, man. Okay, where is the... There's Tomb Raider 2. There's Tomb Raider. Okay, so Tomb Raider Chronicles, Tomb Raider 3. There's Tomb Raider 1. There's Tomb Raider 1. Put that there. Put this in there. There's Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider 2, Tomb Raider 3, Tomb Raider Last Revelations, and Tomb Raider Chronicles. Yeah. There's the Battle Factory. Wild Arms. Yeah, I don't have Final Fantasy 9 here anymore. Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, but I don't have Final Fantasy 9 because I ended up selling that. There were certain PlayStation 1 games that I actually ended up selling. Backbreaker. Oh man, sorry about that, babe. I thought you were one of them. You know what's going on in this memories? And here is the wrestling game for the 360 that I ended up getting. So that was 2003, and then it took until this, until I got the next wrestling game, and this is the 2007. I think I've shown this before. This is of course SmackDown vs. Raw. Stuff that, you know, so yeah. Which was pretty good, and then the the one that I got for the PS3. I forgot what it's called, because the weird thing is that there is a game that has exactly the same front cover, but it's not the correct version, because there were two ones that had like very, very similar. And I think I might have had 2009. So let's see here. So PS3 WWE SmackDown versus Raw PAL 2009? Nope. 2008? 2008 kinda looks like it. Because, okay, so music, I want to select the music now. Because if the music is the WWE SmackDown vs Raw 2008 music, burn my light, get it on. This should be the one that has everybody down. Yeah, it has everybody down. Yeah, that's the game. Because the SmackDown vs Raw 2008, if I remember correctly, the score, or WWE SmackDown vs Raw 2008, okay. Can I get the scores on that? Also known as WWE SmackDown vs Raw 2008. Featuring ECW, yeah, I remember that, ECW, because that was the hardcore, right, that was the hardcore kind of league thing. Published, yeah, in November 2007, yeah. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii, and PlayStation Portable. And also Nintendo DS later. Yeah, each version now has two fighting styles, one primary and one secondary. There's 8 styles altogether: High Flyer, Hardcore, Submission, Powerhouse, Showman, Brawler, Dirty, and Technician. Yeah, I actually like that you can choose the pressure when doing the submissions and stuff that. Yeah, the fighting styles. ECW made his first appearance in the series as a brand. Ashley, CM Punk, Crime Time, Elia Burke, Kelly, Kenny Dykstra, Marcus Corvon, and MVP made their WWE video game debuts. Sabu and the Sandman would make their only appearance in the franchise with this installment. It was marks the return of Jeff Hardy to the franchise, who, if not counting 2003's WWE Crush Hour, last appearance in 2002, WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, which was before the, of course, the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, or yeah. The PS3 version also had a special collector's edition, which I did not have. Reception, yeah, this got, wow. Game Informer gave it 8 out of 10, I gave it a 4.5 out of 10, Game Revolution gave it C, GameSpot gave it 6.5 out of 10, GameSpy gave it only 3, Game Trailer 7.4 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, 5 from 7.5 out of 10 from GameZone and IGN, and PlayStation Official Magazine 9 out of 10. Oh, wait, what did it say that? The PlayStation 2 version of WWE SmackDown vs Raw 2008 was your Platinum Sales Award. Okay. Did they have sales number here? I want to specifically... do they have? Nope. Yeah. Okay, so main series, yeah, SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. There was the PlayStation 1 game. You bring it, yeah, for the PlayStation 2. SmackDown, the first SmackDown, right? Yeah. The first SmackDown was for the PlayStation, and the 2 was also for PlayStation. I remember that actually being very good, but I never got that, you know. And then Here Comes the Pain was the final, like the PS2 game, right? Or the final one before, like, generation jump, because SmackDown vs. Raw. I do remember seeing that as well, but I don't remember if I ever owned that one. 2006, 2007, yeah, that's the one I recognize there. 2010, 2011. Online, which was cancelled sadly. WWE 12, WWE 13, and then it became 2K, WWE 2K 14, 2K 15, 2K 16, 2K 17, 2K 18, 2K 19, 2K 20, 2K 22, 2K 23, and 2K 24. And then WrestleMania based, WrestleMania 93, 89, yeah. Programming based. Other, of course, yeah. But it's been crazy, man. It's been crazy with the jumps in the games and stuff. That has been very crazy. I'm pretty certain that I might have more of the wrestling games. I think I got another one for the 360 as well, maybe. I'm pretty certain that I didn't get any more on the PS2 at least. I'm pretty certain that I didn't get any other stuff there. But I think that was really good about SmackDown, like Here Comes the Pain. And stuff that was in that one you could create very, very crazy characters. You could of course max out all the characters if you wanted to and stuff there, because yeah. And you know, I do think that it's more comparable to the PS2 game, the SmackDown vs. or Here Comes the Pain, rather than any of the modern ones and stuff that. Because yes, you can go in a more ridiculous direction, but it's not like, or you can set all the head stats and all the stats to the maximum. And I don't mean like the stats in the actual game, like the arm and stuff that, but I mean like the head you can increase to the maximum size and stuff that, because you could do some crazy creations. Something that is annoying though is that the entrance and attire, you can have that be completely separate from your you know, what you wear in the ring. And you can set something, for example, when you have done your entrance attire, you can select it to be like ring and entrance attire. That means that you would wear some of the stuff when you go into the ring, but some of that stuff is not worn, or some of the stuff worn during the entrance is not worn in the ring, but some of the stuff can be, and stuff like that. But then the main problem is, for example, if you select a full bodysuit as your entrance or as your fighter ring thing, then you cannot wear certain things. Then you cannot wear really anything at all for your entrance to the ring. And that absolutely makes no sense when you're wearing a full bodysuit. Like, why would a full bodysuit prevent you from wearing like the large trench coat, for example, or the capes? How is that programmed? How is that like, okay, this is like just a stupid restriction, like why is it coded like that? Is it some kind of collision issue that this makes it so that the wrestler just shoots off into the sky or something like that? Is it just, you know, why? Of course, it is crazy, right, to think that, it's only been out for a year and stuff that, you know. It's a bit crazy because they're gonna add a lot more stuff, but I do think that either they should add an expansion that they add to like the campaign itself, to the Road to Elite, that they add an expansion to that where you can take characters that have played through the Road to Elite and then you can continue on increasing your stats. Because here's the thing, right? The people are, oh, but you cannot max out the character in Road to Elite because that will make them too powerful in the online. Yeah, you're not losing any online match because someone has a maxed out like creative wrestler. And there are also strategies that you can use to max out your creative wrestler if you just have the time to do it. And that is to go into matches. You need to make sure, of course, you don't take any damage, so you want to set it on as low as difficulty as possible. And then you basically want to do in the early on in the games, it's harder to do, so you're not going to do it early on in the game, but you're going to do it later. Basically, once you have certain start at a certain level, then basically what you do is you do finishes, you do signature moves. You make sure you do enough moves, because if you get a 7-star ranking, that makes it you receive way more skill points after like a battle if you like end up with like 7 stars and stuff like that. So if you know how to abuse to get 7 stars in most of the matches, once you reach a certain point, then you can have way more skill points, and then it's possible to max out all the skill points. And people might say that that's an abuse, but there is no like time limit. And here's the thing, right? I believe you can still get an S rank even if the match takes a long time. You might say, oh, but like there is something that has to do with match time, I believe. Stuff that to get a high rank in that you have to do the match quickly and stuff that, but I feel that's bullshit because I've gotten like the 6-star rank from doing the Royal Rumble style match in the beginning and winning that, which by the way was not easy. I got very close to getting knocked out at one point because I was on the other side of the rope and I was hanging down and I was just smashing buttons to try and get up, you know. And it was on the Hulk Hogan style character that I made and stuff that, which I had based on the guy on Brody Lee, which sadly passed away during 2020 and stuff that. So yeah, so he already passed away before the game was fully made and stuff that. So yeah, which is sad, rip. But yeah, because the thing is, it was the thing, right? The fact that there are like characters that have like extremely high stats, like, you know, as they saw there, like Chris Jericho and like Kenny Omega and stuff like that. But then also like the characters that I performed the best on my Hulk Hogan character, he was based on Brody Lee, and Brody Lee only had like 78 or 76 or something like that in score, which seems like really, really weird, because the thing is just that there are certain skills that you basically need in order to do certain types of attacks and stuff that, which seems like really weird. Yes, sure, you can die from a turnbuckle and do your dive attacks and stuff like that, but if you don't take the thing that makes you quicker climb the turnbuckle, then it's like really, really bad and stuff. That's it, yeah, you know. But I would recommend this, like if you're making a super heavy character, then okay, sometimes depending on what character you make, like on my Omni-Man character, it made sense that I went with max speed. Even though he's super heavy. I don't know how heavy he's supposed to be, but yeah. And there are certain ones that, you know, like I thought about writing down, like, okay, like what moves should I have, like Hulk Hogan, like all the moves that Hulk Hogan would use are they in the game, you know, and stuff that, you know, and, you know, it would be all like that, you know, but yeah, you know. I have so far 6 created characters and stuff that I might actually do like a video on it on the PlayStation and stuff that, and maybe record stuff that and upload, you know. I'm drinking the horse lemonade. Horse lemonade I really, really like as a flavor. There are like a lot of different monster flavors that I really like, but yeah. That's nice. But yeah. But I really like the wrestling game, you know, and stuff that it's really, really good, you know, stuff that, you know, it's so damn good. But I mean, there are just obvious things that I feel like I'm missing. Not only that there are way too few faces in creative wrestling, way too few hairstyles, because I feel like you cannot even create the wrestlers that are in the game, because there are certain skin colors that cannot be used. And why, for fuck's sakes, when you make tattoos, right? When you put tattoos, for example, all the tattoos in the game are duplicate. It's like so that if you put an arm tattoo, it's on both arms, and it's the same tattoo on both arms. Same thing with the leg tattoos. Same thing with the, well, not really, the ones that are on front doesn't also appear on the back, and like vice versa and stuff that, like there are back tattoos that only shows up on the back and on tattoos. But why can't you have several tattoos? Why are there so few tattoos? And stuff that makes no sense. You should at least have all of the stuff that all of the wrestlers use that are in the game. So you want to create something that looks like a certain specific wrestler. All the clothes, all the stuff should be in create a wrestler. If you want to copy exactly how a certain wrestler looks, for example, like everything should be in there and stuff that, you know. You know, and maybe there should be something like, I would wish that this could be a thing that you could, for example, for example, one block that there should be something that should assist you with making certain wrestlers, like oh, if you input a certain name, then it should work as a code and the game just automatically identifies it. Maybe use an AI for it, you know, an AI that has access to a large wrestling database, like a wrestling AI that basically is like, okay, like if you type in Hulk Hogan, for example, the character name, it would be like, okay, like these are the stats, or these are the things you need to select for Hulk Hogan and stuff that. Okay, these are the moves he would go with, you know, and stuff that, you know, instead of like having to look it up and then write it down on a list or whatever, you know, and stuff that, you know, and stuff that, you know. Because, yeah. And I feel like, you know, like also certain moves, for example, when it comes to strikes and stuff that, you're very limited in the amount of strikes you have. And that can be understandable because in the PS2 game it is entirely possible to completely wreck your character if you use certain moves that are bad, but you cannot see the damage you do with the moves and stuff that you select either, because, you know, you might say, oh, you select the most powerful moves, but then there are certain moves that are way more powerful on certain characters and stuff that, you know, and stuff that, but yeah. Yeah. And of course also the fact that you cannot, for example, if you create Big Show, you cannot make your character tall enough, because Big Show is actually larger than a 2 meter limit in the game. I think it's 210 or 220, basically, like centimeters. So 220 centimeters, which is 2.2 meters. I believe it is, or maybe it's 210, whatever it is, right? And it's the maximum weight though in the game is 225, and I believe that matches his weight exactly 225. So that, but yeah, in the muscle in the game is weird. So unless you have zero muscle on a character, that's the only point when you don't get veins. And that's the thing, when you see how certain wrestlers look like, there are certain wrestlers that doesn't show veins, but they're still very muscular. Instead of that, but immediately, even if you had just 5 or 10 in muscles, again, well, maybe you couldn't select 5. Whatever, now, like maybe you have to select 10, but yeah. But when you go with just a little bit of muscle, you immediately see veins. Immediately. And it's like, okay, like, why is that a thing? Because there are characters that are muscular in the game that doesn't show veins immediately. Like, if you think that, oh, they should get, like, you know, they should get, like, the 6-pack here, you know, they should get all these muscles first, before the arms start getting all omega ripped and you're looking like... But it is pretty funny when Hulk Hogan, like, I made him get like super mega muscle and be like super fucking ripped, and, you know, and I don't know if I got Hulk Hogan's weight right and whatever right, but he's an absolute beast with the moveset, with the Broly moveset, you know, and stuff like that, because yeah. And the thing is, like, that the thing that makes Broly good, for example, is the fact that, okay, so his status stat is in super high, like what was it, like 76, 78. But the thing is just that he has like a really long range, and he has certain like kick moves that are like insanely good because he like has a long reach on them and stuff like that. And then it feels like there are certain characters that you want to copy and stuff that are like way more powerful than others, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, I have 2 female characters also as well and stuff like that, and the female characters are pretty interesting because their campaign is actually very different. And then they can also fight against the males and stuff like that, which is weird, but you know. But I would definitely say that, you know, like, we definitely need to get some sort of single-player expansion or something like that. Or something that allows you to run New Game Plus with the characters and stuff like that, but yeah. But it is interesting, of course, that it seems that you can unlock all the secret characters with the funny thing is, on the first character that I made, I did lose a few battles, and that actually made it so that I could have unlocked Paul White if I would have known about Strat. I mean, I've gotten really good at the strat, and I've used it on other really rough fights that you bring someone out to the side of the arena, and as long as you have the countdown active so that they can get, you know, like the countdown when they're outside and stuff, that as long as that can be counted down, is pretty easy to do and stuff there to, you know, knock someone out completely and stuff that and make it into the ring when it's on the 9 count. But you need to position yourself carefully and stuff that in order to make that work and stuff there. But there are of course like certain moves that are used like super useful and stuff there. And I do think that, for example, like, why are there no cheat codes in the game? Sure, you know, like the secret wrestlers that are currently in the game shouldn't have cheat codes, but there should be like extra wrestlers and stuff that, and maybe these don't need to be based on any real wrestlers, like they could just be like custom wrestlers, whatever, right? And I also wish that they would be like, I don't know if there is in the game somewhere you can go and you can download other wrestlers. Like there should be like a community page or something like that where you can see like, oh, these are creative wrestlers that people have done, you know, like, you know, or maybe even create moves or something like that, you know, like okay, this is the startup frames, so that you could select frames and then you can make your own moves or whatever like that. Like that would be really cool, you know. Or they should use to release like move packs, and like I don't know how much they would sell them for, but you know, like if they sell them, like, you know, like you should have like certain packs that you could buy, like a grappler pack with a bunch of grappling moves. Or like ones that are specifically like the speedster pack, or this is for your speedsters style characters. Powerhouse, or this is a powerhouse pack for powerhouse characters, you know, and stuff like that. And you know, you could use exactly, you know, what you want, like, oh, a submission pack or for like submission style characters, because there have been submission style characters. The only one I can think of really, as far as like a lot of submissions, or like a Kurt Angle, of course, which, you know, made a lot of sense, you know, and stuff there. But yeah, there have been others as well. But yeah, but I just feel like, you know, like the game is limited in the creator wrestler, and there should definitely be packs for it that should get released, you know, or maybe even free and stuff that, like, just added to the game and stuff that. Because yeah, I mean, I really like it, you know, like the whole creator arena thing is pretty good, but it still feels a bit limited, because when you create an arena, you should be able to create your own, like, you know, like okay, if there's a cage match, then you should make it look like an actual cage and stuff like that. Of course, I really like the whole danger, whatever you call it, right? The arena, when it's like there's 4 corners, and in these 4 corners there are like electrical things that you can push them into. That's really powerful. And then you have the electric nets, and then when the timer counts down, there's a huge explosion, and you want to push the opponent into the corner and have them like stunned there, and then you try and stay in the middle of the arena so they take the most amount of damage. And that arena is just absolutely amazing and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, and then of course there are certain skills that I feel like aren't very useful at all, especially if you don't like focus on doing like team games and stuff like that. But then it's just like, oh, what if you're in a team game or whatever. But yeah, and there should also be an option that you can use activate, so that whenever you're in a team or in a tag match, and whenever you tag your partner, you will just immediately take control over that character or whatever. But yeah, and I also think that there should be something that allows you to just call in your partner while you're doing like a throw move. Like if you do a grapple move and you're near your side, your partner should just be able to immediately realize, okay, now we can go do a tag move together and stuff, that like a tandem move, as they call it, and stuff like that. Because the tandem moves are really, really cool, and they do inflict a lot of damage, and the opponents are using it a lot. But it feels like the AI is really, really bad on that when it comes to your own side and stuff like that. Okay, because yeah, you know. But yeah. What else? Was there something else? So yeah. I mean, and I also think that you should somehow be able to meet your other creative wrestler characters in the campaign mode. I know that they would have to write a bunch of extra lines and stuff like that, but I feel also that because when you select your when you start a new road to Elite after you've finished a previous one with another character, you can select your behavior, which kind of means that you get access to different dialogue options. I feel like you do when you encounter certain other wrestlers. And I also feel like your weight class plays into this, depending on your weight class, depending on if you choose female or male, depending on weight class, and also depending on if you select, for example, hero, if you select Enigma. Enigma is kind of more in the lines of a good guy, kind of like the hero. So Enigma hero, Monster, I think it is, right? Monster. or maybe it's confident first. No, it's monster. Then it's like confident. Then it's jerk. And then it's quiet. So 6 different ones. So Enigma, hero, monster, confident, jerk, and quiet. Yeah, those are the ones. Because they seem to give you different dialogue depending on like, okay, because, but I believe there are also certain characters you can encounter even if you're, if you are a certain thing, right? That there are certain encounters you seem to get across like all 3. Like there seems to be certain encounters that you get if you're on Enigma, hero, and another thing as well. Quiet, I believe it is. Those 3 encounters being the hero or the, what do you call it, the hero, Enigma, and I believe quiet count as being the you know, the baby face style wrestlers, while the monster, jerk, and confident seem to be the heels. Basically, is kind of what I'm saying. That yeah, you can get the same encounters kind of with monster, with jerk, and with confident. But those are the ones that kind of get like the asshole ending where you just take over the whole entire company. If you win the last match and stuff that, like you just take over it all and stuff that, you know. But if you choose, for example, if you choose quiet, the quiet hero or Enigma, then you're more of a, you know, good guy and stuff that. And then the ending is different, you know. And you get to fight like a shadow version of yourself in the end because you doubt yourself and, you know, stuff that. So yeah, you know, it is different, you know, and stuff that. And then it is interesting, right, discovering the different like pathways and stuff there, because there is a certain amount of photos that you can get, and getting all of the snapshots is actually really, really hard. And I don't know if you need to basically quote unquote play to with every character and every kind of thing, but there seems to be also that new cutscenes that you haven't seen before still shows up as the red icon thing next to, you know, next to the like the go out, the, you know, the eating the food, the dining, going out, which you can do the press conference, then you can do the other thing as well. And yeah, and there seems to be certain ones that you have to be female to get, and certain ones that you have to be male to get. But then it's also, I think it's also dependent on if you choose for the character to already have a title belt. Because I think that the title belts that you choose for the character, there's a championship thing that you can go into in the settings option, and you can select who has what title belt. And then if you select one of the creative wrestlers before you have played through the Road to Elite, and that seems to kind of change the storyline as well and stuff that. So, you know, there's a lot of interesting options. And I think that's gonna do it because it's getting a bit darker now and stuff that. So yeah. Actually, I can turn this on. I'm gonna see just how different it is here now if I turn this on here. Okay, that's a bit better. Now it gets more light. Because yeah. Or is it just, yeah, it's not super late yet, but yeah, but I can actually pull this up now. Pull up the, like the light screen, this should help actually. If I pull this up. It's gonna get a lot brighter than here if I pull this up, I think. Yeah. But anyway, I think that should do it actually for now, at least, you know, and stuff, but yeah. I wonder if I should try and get myself into form again. And stuff like that, because it is crazy, right? Like people think that everyone was fat when they were like younger and stuff like that, and I wasn't fat when I was young. I wasn't even fat in 9th grade, or even when I began on like the gymnasium, whatever you want to call it, like is it high school that it's called, or is it college that it's called in the US? Grades like 10 to 12 basically. Because at least when you're doing those grades, basically, because of the 9th grade, I had to repeat 9th grade because, you know, I was feeling psychologically really bad and stuff that. And I had to repeat 9th grade, and then that went better and stuff that. And then the place I chose for college did not work out at all, you know, and maybe it was just too much stress at that college, and, you know, like very weird with how it was. So after that I started going to a psychiatrist and stuff that, and then we found out, oh, I had this handicap or whatever, right? And that I should have access to like someone that quote unquote helps me, so to speak, and stuff that when I'm like doing like school stuff and stuff like that, but I never had access to that when I was younger, and I should have had access to it when I was younger, but I never had, you know, and stuff like that, because, yeah. So, you know, and after that, you know, basically, like, I took it, like, eventually, you know, when I had been to the psychiatrist enough, I took, like, a year off and stuff like that, so I didn't start in, and I basically, when I jumped into college, I eventually started in 11th grade, and then I went 12th grade, and then I went 10th grade, because 10th grade is kind of much of a repeat of 9th grade, basically, is pretty much what it is, but yeah, you know. So it's weird, so, like, when I ended, like, if people, like, would see that, oh, this is when I took the you know, when you finish college, you know, you take your student, as it's called here in Sweden. When you take that, for example, if I showed you, when I showed that glass, you could see what year it was, then you will think that, oh, I am that age. But then it doesn't make sense that, okay, how can you be born 1985 and be 39 years old when your student glass is this year? And then, of course, that would have made sense if I wouldn't have, like, okay, I repeated 9th grade. I went to the psychiatrist place, and I don't remember how long I went there and stuff like that, because, you know, like, during that time I didn't have any school or whatever, right, or any college or anything, because I failed at college and stuff like that, and I went to the psychiatrist and stuff like that. And then eventually, like, I probably went there, like, a lot of times, you know, and stuff like that. So there probably was a year of the college during that year when I should have been in that college. Yeah, I think I spent around a year at the psychiatrist, and then after that I basically took a year break, because it was already in a certain month. It was basically already in September at that point, so it had already started and stuff like that. So, you know, I took a year off, and then eventually when it became, you know, the next season basically, or whatever, you know, and stuff like that, that's when I started, like, the 10th grade, and then 11th or 11th grade, 12th grade, and then 10th grade last. Because it's just a repeat and stuff like that. And that was because they had a specific teacher or whatever, you know, and stuff like that, you know, that had students with the same handicap as me before and stuff like that, so yeah, you know. Which was something, you know, and stuff like that, but yeah. That's crazy, man. So we're gonna be 40 next year. Hell yeah, brother. But yeah. And of course, and even when I had taken the student thing, you know, which was basically after 12th grade, so after taking the student, I still went for another year and did 10th grade and stuff like that. Although in 10th grade, because of the fact that most of the stuff is just a repeat of 9th grade, so I could skip, like, a lot of classes, like, I didn't need to do them. Like, they said even to me, like, you don't need to take this because this is just a repeat of 9th grade, and your grade is already good enough. So you can just skip a bunch of stuff, you know, and stuff like that, you know. And I could also take it, like, extra lessons if I wanted to in Spanish, you know, which I probably should have done, you know, and stuff like that. Like, I could have, like, raised my score in Spanish a lot more and stuff like that, because, yeah. And it's more like, here's the thing, like, I don't understand what all the words mean in Spanish, like, that's my weakness. But when it comes to actually pronouncing things in Spanish and talking Spanish, I can talk Spanish, I can just understand it. Like, I'm really good at the speaking the language part, and I can speak super fast. So I can have, like, I could, like, if you say, like, oh, have a talk with these Spanish people, talk about this, and then they give me a list of what to talk about, you know, and they tell me what the words are that I need to speak, you know, and stuff like that, and it's just, you know, I can just speak, like, very quickly and stuff like that, you know. And it's hard for a lot of people, like, to speak, like, the speed of that they speak in Spanish and stuff that, and getting it that correctly, you know, and stuff that, and I'm very good at that for whatever reason, but I'm just not good at understanding what all the words mean and stuff that, because, yeah, you know. Pretty funny. And actually, if you grow up in a place that it's multilingual or whatever, or you have, like, parents from different, like, countries and they speak different languages, if you grow up hearing that when you're younger, then you will actually have an easier time understanding languages for whatever reason. You know, it's weird like that, because, yeah, because you have a biological computer in your head. Well, it's kind of funny, right, how Super Metroid and the Metroid series, how it's like the mother brain, and it's basically like a biological computer and stuff that, you know, and, you know, and it makes sense why it decides to do what it does. It's a survival thing, you know, in order to make itself survive and stuff, but yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I see you all next time, but I will probably won't upload it today because it's pretty late, you know, when I really want a game. Depends on the file size of this, of course. Like if it's used a few gigabytes, then I could upload this really quickly. But anyway, this has been the Xenoxis Show for the 21st of June 2024. I hope you all have a good one, and in the comments below, you can put, you know, if you want me to record a certain game on the PlayStation 5 or whatever, you know, and stuff like that, because yeah. I did of course not move over really any data at all from the PS4 and stuff like that. But it was a bit of an issue, of course, you know, having to like restart in certain games and stuff like that. And, you know, I've been also thinking about, like, if I get a new TV, like, I want to get a TV that is quick. And it has like good milliseconds, especially in terms of the controller and stuff like that, because I feel like saying like, ho, you can play with a screen that is 30 milliseconds. No, you cannot. You know, I'm really bad at certain games if I don't have the good milliseconds. Like Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, I was pretty good at. Those were the best Souls game that I were best at, you know. Dark Souls 2 I completed as well, but I completed the harder version of it. The one that was released on the PS4 as well. Right, what do you call it? I forgot what do you call it, because yeah, the range of Dark Souls 2 I got stuck at. It's because I didn't know what to go at one point, because I killed a lot of the bosses and stuff like that, and then I just didn't know where to go and stuff like that. But yeah, but I mean, you can become broken very, very quickly in Dark Souls 2. And there's also like if you know about the whole bonfire aesthetic thing, you can do a setup which allows you to get the bonfire aesthetic, and then you quit the third game because there's a certain thing. You can choose bonfire aesthetic in the beginning, but then there are also certain items that you can give to the pump a rump and stuff like that. Me no pick it, me no pump a rump, you know. And you can give them a certain item, and then there's a chance that that certain items that you can give them is a chance to be like the bonfire aesthetic. And the bonfire aesthetic is the absolute best thing in the game, because you go and kill the vendor that has the XP set, then you go over to a Hades Tower Flame, you just rush through everything, you skip all the enemies, do the boss, make the boss fall off, which is super easy to manipulate, and while wearing the XP set, you of course get that kill, you then you know, spend your points on whatever you want to level up, then you go bonfire aesthetic at the first Hades Tower of like the bonfire there at the first place, and you use the bonfire aesthetic, and that puts it at new game +2 or +1, what do you want to call it, right? Basically put the enemies at new game plus level, then you go do the same thing on the boss again, make him fall off, bleh. And technically this actually affects 2 bosses, so you can technically go and defeat both of them, stuff that, although the other boss is considerably tougher to deal with and stuff that, so you know, but if you want to maximize things, you know, then you want to do both bosses. But I don't know if there's a cheap way to kill the other boss, but yeah. And then of course, once you want to gain infinite amount of levels in the game, what you do is you respec your character and you respec yourself into a spellcaster, and then you go and there's a way to keep getting bonfire aesthetic from this, so you can keep on like repeating them into new game plus infinity basically. And I forgot at what point the XP maxes out, but you can basically go and repeat a certain boss over and over and over again, and it's the giant boss or whatever that takes place in like a back scenario where you watch like a flashback, and I believe you have to use the item, or you have to get to a certain part in the game, and you go up to a tree, I think it is, and you watch a flashback, and there's a giant attacking, and you're on like a wall and like in a castle or whatever, right? And you can defeat that boss. And I believe the boss every time drops a bonfire aesthetic or something like that, or there is a way to get, basically, so you can keep on repeating that boss, and you can kill it very easy with certain spells and stuff that you can use, like basically kill the boss like extremely quickly, and then this gives a shit ton of XP, and then you can use bonfire aesthetic, boom, repeat the boss, and then you can use it infinitely, and you can just gain to max level, which I believe is 999, the max level in Dark Souls, so you can use to repeat that, you know, and stuff that, and then you can use to be super powerful and stuff that, you know, and stuff that, because yeah, you know, but yeah. But there are just certain builds that are just completely busted in Dark Souls 2. But then there are certain places that are just absolutely BS in Dark Souls 2 and stuff like that, because, yeah. And of course I was a lot better at Bloodborne and stuff like that, but you know, like when I played Bloodborne and when I played like Dark Souls 3, I thought that Dark Souls 3 was a lot easier, except for a few bosses and stuff like that, but in Dark Souls 3 it was easier to do like the ring setups that lets you do a lot of damage and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, and I would say that certain bosses are also easy with certain weapons, like you want to have like a great sword or a bigger weapon when you're fighting the boss at the castle place. Very, very late into the game and stuff like that. Where there's a boss and there's a guy hanging on his back that's healing basically, and you can hit both of them at once if you're using a bigger weapon instead of using a smaller one and stuff like that, but yeah. But there are ways to get completely broken in Dark Souls 3. There are the bosses, of course, the dragon boss and stuff like that, like the king boss or whatever, because I never defeated that in regular new game. And I went to, I think I got to like a new game +2 or +3 or whatever in Dark Souls 3. I didn't play it further than that, you know, but yeah. Same thing in Bloodborne, I was to a pretty high new game plus level as well. And there's of course also the dungeon that you can use create in Bloodborne that just allows a certain creature to die, and you just go to a certain position, you just wait, and then there's a creature that dies, and it dies over and over again and stuff like that. And you just need to rush to a certain position in the game to make it be done pretty easily and stuff like that. But yeah. There's also an easy way to cheat on the boss, on the gas coin boss. But yeah, but then it's funny, right? Because in the what do you call it? There is a way, and I forgot exactly how you do the setup, because there's a way to make him jump out of the battlefield, whatever. Now you think I got it once or twice. It has to do with the stats and the collisions. But before there was a trick that you can do. You can still do this trick, by the way, but it's not with jumping anymore that you do the trick. It's basically something that allows you to go through the wall. You need to bring the guy from inside the hospital thing, the werewolf there. You need to bring that close to the gate. Then you need to get grabbed by one of his moves, and then you need to spam certain buttons. I forgot exactly what buttons it was. It still works, and you can end up on the other side of the gate. But before there was a trick, basically, that when you go into that forest area, basically, which is way later on in the game, you're not supposed to be there already, but you go to the forest area, you activate the bonfire, you go to a certain area there where the dogs are, basically, and you kill them, or whatever and stuff like that. And then if you go back to a certain place in the place where you start, and stuff like that, if you go back there again, and stuff like that after defeating the dogs there, which are easy because they're in a cage, so you can use defeat them easily. And then you go back to the starting area again, and stuff like that. No, or not the starting area, not the dream. Like the dream area where the doll is, but you go back, and there's a certain bridge, and if you cross over it, you should be getting XP, and that's because it's trying to spawn the dogs in, and the dogs just fall through the world, and you just get XP. And before that was something that you could do just by, you didn't even have to get grabbed by that thing that you could use to a certain jump, specifically, but that jump got removed, basically, because you would jump near where the guy is with the axe, near where the gate is. You can basically do a certain jump, and then you can get over there and stuff there, but yeah. But that one got fixed, so you have to get grabbed by the werewolf now, but yeah. But then, for example, you could use cross that page, and you could use get infinite XP there that way, but you know, but then later on, of course, it was found that you could use a certain code to get into a certain dungeon where something will fall through the world as well, where something will just die. And then you just get free XP and stuff that, and stuff that. And sure, it also becomes easier once you get certain, I think it is certain bloodstones you equip or certain runes, because there are runes that increases your XP or your souls gain. Or not souls, but, blood, whatever it was called. But yeah. So that's interesting. But anyway, I see